Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today's video is going to be another review video, and this is going to be a review video for the second, or maybe it was the third week of February. I didn't watch too many films during this week. In fact, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I watched 6 films during that week. So yeah, not as many as I normally would watch, but yeah, nevertheless, there are still some to talk about, so I'll get straight into it. From the 13th of February, of which I decided to watch Scream. Now, it's safe to say that I'm not a big fan of horror films. You can probably tell from my collection of what I've shown of it, and just from my videos in general. I don't generally tend to watch horror films. I don't like horror films generally because I just don't think they're like, they just don't do anything for me. I know there's a lot of people that get stuff from horror films out there, but for me, they don't do anything. However, I will say there are some that I'm interested in watching, such as the Nightmare on Elm Street films, because I watched this. Maybe the Friday the 13th films. There are some I want to get into, but then again, there is some that I'm just not interested in. Like, I'm not interested in the Insidious films. I'm not interested in the Saw films. Films like horror films like that, I'm not really interested in. But there are some I wanted to watch, and this was one of them. I've never liked jump scares, which is another reason. So I generally try and stay away from horror films when I can, because I find it difficult to watch them. But now, like I say, after watching this film, I am going to try and watch as many horror films as I can, because Scream was amazing. I think, as I say, by far, of the small amount of horror films that I have seen, this is the best. It's so tense, it's very gripping. I loved all of the characters in this film. I loved how it wasn't stupid and cliched like a lot of horror films generally are nowadays. It had good twists within it, it had good death scenes in it, and all I can say is I cannot wait to check out the rest of this franchise. I have seen another one since then. I've only seen 2 as of recording of this video, but I am going to watch the rest. Love this, and I just want to spend more time with these characters because I just absolutely love this world. Just love how it's done. So I gave Scream 4.5 stars out of 5. Next up, again on the 13th, I decided to watch a Marvel film that is, I don't want to say controversial, because I don't see it as controversial, but it's one of the more out there Marvel films. It's one of the first Marvel films, and that is Blade. I will say this is by far the goriest Marvel film out there. Yes, it is gorier than Deadpool. It does make for a very entertaining movie, though, I will say that. It's very dark, both in tone and visually. And for this character, I don't know much about Blade, but I feel like that is the right way going about dealing with his character. I am still extremely excited to see what Mahershala Ali does with Blade within the MCU, how dark it's going to be. Wesley Snipes is great as Blade, and whilst really when you look at it the story is pretty dumb, the film overall is a lot of fun still, has some great action set pieces and some pretty decent cinematography. So it is a pretty fun film. It's a weak Marvel film, I will say that, of the Marvel films I've seen, but for the time I think it's on the same level as like Fantastic Four, Daredevil, those sorts of films. They're all on the same level, and I gave Blade 3 stars out of 5. Next up, on the 14th of February, can you guess what film I watched? I watched Valentine's Day. I'm a very, I probably wouldn't have said, because I started this review right at the beginning of the year, but I like to watch films that are set around certain days. On those days, I watch New Year's Eve on New Year's Eve, so I wanted to watch Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. I know it's stupid, but they're just uplifting films to watch on those days, and I do really enjoy this film. It's not a great film, definitely not well made, but it is definitely entertaining. Got a great cast, like fantastic cast, which makes it even easier to watch. It has some good laughs in it, a decent story, and as I say, I try to watch this every year on Valentine's Day because it just gets me in the right mood and is a fun time. So I gave Valentine's Day 3 stars out of 5. 3 more, halfway there. Next up, on the 17th of February, I watched a new release. So yes, as you can see, I went a few days without watching anything. But yeah, I watched a new release on the 17th of February in the cinemas, and that is Marry Me. Now, as you probably know from my channel, I love rom-coms, romantic dramas, anything like that. So I was looking forward to this for quite a while, specifically because of the pairing of Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, who do make for a great and very different on-screen couple. The story is definitely outlandish and out there, just a crazy story, but I think it works in favour for this film because of how outlandish it is. I had a lot of fun with this film. I really enjoyed it. It gave off vibes of like Notting Hill, like a nobody meets like a somebody, that sort of thing. And Notting Hill is one of my favourite rom-coms out there. This is definitely a cliched film, but I laughed a lot throughout the film, and it has a lot of heart to it. It's just a lovely story. So yeah, I definitely recommend Marry Me. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. May seem a bit high, but I actually really enjoyed this and can't wait to pick this up on Blu-ray when it comes out. Next up, as I said, I now went to, this was on the, what it says here, on the 19th, so this was a few weeks ago as of now. I watched Scream 2, and I will say this is probably one of, if not the best sequels that I have seen. Could be in the minority with saying that, but I actually thought that this Scream 2 was just as good as Scream. It had the scares that the first one had, whilst also adding comedy within this that I felt worked right. The kills were really fun in this film, and it had a good story that was worthy of a sequel to a great, what I consider, as I said, great first film. Neve Campbell was great, as were both Courtney Cox and David Arquette returning from the first film. I think the killer reveal in this film was very good, and the twist was very effective. The characters that return had the further development that they deserved, and I hope to see them developed even more over the next few films. I just had a great time with this film and look forward to checking Scream 3 out, hopefully very soon. I gave Scream 2 4 stars out of 5. Now, the final film that I watched this week of February, don't know how to word it because this is obviously not February when I'm filming this, this is the middle of March, so it's a bit weird. You will see this probably next week though, so it will be the middle of March when you see this, just so, as I say, I've got a video every week. But stop baffling them. I watched Valkyrie. Now this is going to be a controversial opinion. I thought it was an interesting film that had a terrific cast led by Tom Cruise, and I did think that it was a good film, and it's basically about the story about that a lot may not have heard of, surrounding Hitler, about his like planned assassination that failed, but I didn't think it was great. Now I know a lot of people do. I thought it was good, it was okay. I didn't have any specific problems with the film, but I was taken out of the film towards the halfway point. It did seem to lose a bit of steam towards this point, but it did definitely pick up towards the end again and was an enjoyable film. The costumes and the locations were great, and it was an interesting film, but I just felt like it could have done something a bit more to stand out. Now I'm going to say, these types of war films that are more political, I'm not a huge fan of, especially if they're like Americanized or like, you know, mainly set in Germany or something like that. There's another film, stay tuned for early March reviews, that I watched that I wasn't a fan of because of the same reasons. But I did still enjoy Valkyrie, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film, I did enjoy it, but I knew that I could have liked it more, it could have done more for me. So yeah, I gave Valkyrie 3 out of 5 stars, and that is it. So that is everything for week, I want to say it's week 2, it might actually be week 3, it's week 3, I keep saying week 2, it's week 3 of February, make it clear, week 3 of February 2022. I don't know how that works, yeah, so we've got quite a lot next week to go through, say more than 10, because I did watch quite a lot of films in the last week of February. So yeah, I am going to make that video straight after this. But yeah, that is it. So if you like the video, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded onto the channel. Comment down below anything, everything. Have you seen any of these films? Are there any of these films that you've not seen that you're now interested in after hearing my thoughts? My thoughts are just subjective. These films you may hate, you may love. I'm just giving my thoughts on them. Some of you may have similar thoughts to films like I do, because I know that I have very similar thoughts to some people out there on most films. So who knows, you may enjoy a film just as much as I do, or you may not. So let me know down in the comments anyway what you think, what you you know, in general. And that is it. So until next time, everyone, take care, goodbye.